Hello and welcome back to another video in the version control, and what we're learning is Git, and we're using GitHub as our remote service. We could use Bitbucket or even set up our own Git server, but for an example, because it is the most popular and you're definitely going to run into it, we are using GitHub. And so I hope all that is going well. What I want to show you now is what happens if someone adds you to a repository and they want you to start working on it. How do you get that code initially on your computer? So say you didn't start the project. In our example, what we've shown up until this point is we created the code and then we pushed it to the remote. But what happens if we didn't have the code on our computer crashed, we deleted the code on accident, or we're just a new developer and working on someone else's stuff? So what we do is we use a command called clone, which will clone the repo from the remote to our local machine. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm right here in my terminal, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to back up a little bit, and I'll show you that my working directory is I'm in my htdocs. And so if I ls, you can see that this version control, this is the project that we've been working on it, and I'm just going to use rm-rf to delete the version control directory. And now if I ls, it is gone. So what do I want to do here? Well, I want to use the git clone to copy that project onto my computer so that I can work in it. So what you want to do is you want to be in the working directory where you want to copy the project. So I'm right here in my htdocs. So if I'm doing it on example, this is where I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead now and we will go to GitHub and go ahead and if you go to where the click on the repo, and then there's this download code button, and what we're going to do is you can choose HTTPS or SSH. Now we've added our SSH key, so we want to use SSH. If you use the HTTPS, it's going to try to use that, and you're going to have to enter your username and password every time you pull or push any code. So we're going to use the SSH because we do have an SSH key, and I'm going to click this copy clipboard thing in here, and it's going to copy this URL, and this is an SSH link here. So all we have to do now is go back to our terminal and make sure we're in the right directory, and we just type git space clone space, and then we'll copy that link in and hit enter. And now it is saying it's cloning into version control. So it goes ahead and copies everything. Now if I ls, you can see that I have version control back on my computer. And if I cd into version control, you can see if I git branch right here, I am on the master branch. So this is already git initialized, so it brings over all the information from the repo, and so I don't have to do a git init. I don't have to add the remote directory or anything like that. It comes automatically when I type in that git clone. It gets all the information it needs, so I can go ahead and work on this now as if I had started it on my computer. Because let me show you this. If I do an ls-a, you can see that I do have the .git. So all the information is stored in this hidden directory here. This .git directory comes with the clone, and so I'm ready to push and pull and all of that. As long as I have my username set up and I have my SSH key and all of that set up, I'm ready to go. So that is cloning a project. Now you can do that when you clone other people's projects, or if you're cloning your own project onto a new computer, or you've deleted your project and need to add it back, you can always do that. So don't be afraid. That's one thing that's really cool about version control, is if I totally screw up my computer, I can get it back from its most recent state that I've pushed it from the remote server. In this case, it was GitHub. So that is clone, and in the next video, we're going to talk about rolling back our changes or removing our changes. So you remember when we talked about commits and all of that? Well, what happens if I want to remove one of those commits? What happens if I want to go back a couple commits and forget everything that I worked on after that. So that's what we're going to talk about in the next video, and I think that will be the last video in this chapter. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Have a wonderful day. Please comment, like, subscribe, let me know if you've learned anything, and I will talk to you later.